COVID hasn't stopped for us and now exploded in an exponential way this past weekend.
Alex Zakarski has been an ICU nurse for 18 years, but she says the rapid resurgence of a virus that she thought was under control has tested her more than anything in her career.
It's very hard to see families on the other side of the phone and be crying and saying that he or she should have vaccinated, and we're saying to them goodbye, and it's absolutely horrible. How's she doing?
On Friday, this hospital realised that their 8 beds in their COVID ICU would no longer be enough. So they moved upstairs here, tripling their capacity to 24. Already, there are 12 beds that are filled. All of those people are on ventilators, and very few of them are expected to survive.
Of the 238 COVID inpatients in this hospital system, more than 90% are unvaccinated.
It's exhausting. It's very sad, to be honest. We feel that we need your help to help you. We can't do this alone.
More are heeding that call. The number of people in Florida getting vaccinated last week increased by 40% from the first week of July. But there are still many Floridians who will not take the vaccine. One of the strongest opponents is a local politician.
There's nothing standing in the way of the government to control each and every aspect of your life if you give in on stupid non-pharmaceutical interventions like masks and vaccine mandates. In Europe and places where there is no freedom, no liberty, no freedom of thought, I think that's a little bit more popular. But here we resist it a little bit more because we believe in individual freedom.
Many scientists and medical professionals are saying that wearing a mask does work to curb the virus.
So that's not an argument. What you're actually relying upon is an ideology of our times that says if somebody is a credentialed person, if they go to a college or university, that what they say has an automatic merit that cannot be questioned by the reasoned public.
So I just spent the morning with some of those people that went to college and got these certificates to say that they are qualified as nurses and doctors, and they all told me that they wanted people to wear masks, they wanted people to get a vaccine.
They have no understanding of the science whatsoever. They have no understanding.
Have you had the vaccine?
No.
And why is that?
Because I'm 32 years old, I'm in great shape, and I don't need it.
But back on the COVID ward, the staff would disagree.
And now they're very young, 20s, 30s, 40s. At the beginning, it was more like old people, but now it's very young people.
Nurse Gemma Weiss says the majority of her patients have not been vaccinated and now regret it.
And what kind of things do they say to you?
They thought that they were immune, that they were healthy, that they didn't need it. It's hard being here.
We need to take this a little bit more serious than we have.
As a healthy 35-year-old, Junie Oscar didn't think she'd need it either. Now she's on the COVID ward.
People are on ventilators, people are like literally bodies about to drop.
But she's still not ready to get vaccinated.
I mean, I'm definitely going to look into it to understand it a little bit more.
As Florida grapples with vaccine hesitancy, it's also contending with the wholesale rejection of science. Iris Acosta-Zobel pulled her 7-year-old daughter out of her private school in May after the co-founder sent an email advising teachers and parents not to get vaccinated, and students were warned to stay away from loved ones who had been.
I have emails of communications from kids in the classroom texting their parents. The teachers were telling them not to hug their parents if they were vaccinated, because vaccines were something that transmit from your body to their bodies, and it was not good for the kids. At the point in time, the misinformation was so much inside the building that we couldn't keep our child in there. It becomes not safe psychologically, right?
When we asked for comment, the school's co-founder declined to speak to us. The concern of those on the front line is that this misinformation is preventing Florida from escaping the grip of COVID-19 and leading to what nurse Alex Zakarski describes as the pandemic of the unvaccinated.
Given what you and your staff went through last year, how do you feel that you're back at this stage now?
We're expecting to get worse, if not much worse than before.
Well, after 18 long months of trying to save lives in a very rainy Florida, those healthcare workers are urging people to come to vaccination sites like this one to protect themselves. And there are even a few people braving this weather today to do so, but infection rates continue to tick up. We called the hospital system who run the hospital that we filmed at on Monday, and they've had new COVID patients since then, and statewide it is the same issue. There are now more than 12,000 people with COVID-19 in hospital in Florida today. That is higher than the peak last summer, and it is not just low vaccination rates that are fueling this, it's also a lack of restrictions. There's no mask mandate here in Florida, and anecdotally I can tell you that the team and I, we've been traveling around, we can definitely say that there are far fewer people we've seen wearing masks here than in, say, Washington, D.C., where infection rates are much lower. And that mask resistance is coming from the top. Governor Ron DeSantis, who is a big Trump ally, he also perhaps is harbouring presidential ambitions of his own. He has not introduced a mask mandate. In fact, he's introduced an executive order which bans schools from allowing people, from forcing people to wear masks inside. Ron DeSantis, the governor, is playing down the issues in his state, and he said, in fact, it's just the media who are fear-mongering.